as they are gearing up for opening night in just 11 days, let's go coast to coast on the preseason action. Starting in Cleveland, Ben Mathurin, he had the hot hand, leading the team with 25 points. Remember, Mathurin missed the final 36 games, including the postseason, with a torn right labrum. So, Victor, how big is it going to be for the Pacers to have him back here?
I think it's going to be huge. He's a dynamic guard coming off the bench. He could do many different things, scoring inside and out. So it's going to be real important for him to be healthy, for the Pacers to make a push this year in the East.
Well, especially because they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore after the in-season tournament and their postseason run. Let's stick in the East here. Bobby Portis. Bobby. He only missed one shot en route to scoring 23. Perk, is he going to be the secret weapon for the Bucks here?
I believe that Bobby Portis, my guy, is the most important player to the Bucks' success this season. We don't know what Chris Middleton is going to look like. Can he come off the bench and be that third option guy to average 18 to 20 points? I believe he can. Bobby is a bucket.
He's also the mayor in Milwaukee. On to Dallas, all-star
that boy.
Lauri Markkanen led the Jazz in scoring with 26. Lauri is fresh off signing that extension where he will make $238 million over the next 5 years. Victor, is he the right player to build around in Utah?
Cash money, man. That brings a level of comfort, yes, definitely. I believe he is the player to build around in Utah. They put the pieces around him. I think they really got a chance to build something around him. So we'll see how it goes.
But when I said let's head to Dallas, this is really where you thought I was going to go, right?
Yeah,
the real story. Klay Thompson's debut. Let's see how it went down here in the Big D. Klay Thompson, his first action here in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, coming off there, nailing the three.
Yeah, incredible, man. Just to see him back playing, he looks happy. He looks like he's having a good time. The sets they're running for him, getting him some looks, so I know he's happy, and it's just great to see him healthy, doing what he loves.
And that's his shot there, looking real comfortable, pulling up for three. This is what Dallas wanted. They were struggling a little bit, finding some of that shooting in the finals, and now they've added it.
Needs to dribble.
Here's Klay Thompson.
It was a great time. I was nervous for like 4 days, so I haven't been that nervous, I don't think, since the 2015 Finals Game 1. So it felt so good just to get out there and play and work those jitters out because it was a new experience, and it's a natural feeling when you've been somewhere so long to be somewhere new, a new environment, and to finally put the uniform on, it felt amazing.
Well, Tim MacMahon had no jitters. He's been around the Dallas Mavericks forever. Our reporter covering Dallas joining us now. Howdy, partner. What were your first impressions of Klay Thompson's game here?
Howdy, Malika. Look, it's really kind of a surreal sense of excitement about Klay Thompson, and those jitters were apparent early. I mean, the guy didn't get a bucket in the first quarter, calmed down in the second quarter. You saw kind of the classic Klay Thompson shot making that you expect to see. But, Jason Kidd has emphasized that this is going to be a journey with Klay. They don't expect him to be perfect coming in. They don't expect it always to be smooth. They've got to get Luka Doncic back on the floor, maybe for the preseason finale, definitely for the regular season opener, and to really figure out how these pieces fit. And it's not going to be a couple of weeks. It's not going to be a month. Jason Kidd said this is an 82-game journey, and hopefully they've got things really figured out as far as how everybody enhances each other going into the playoffs. But look, J. Kidd called it a beautiful thing that Klay comes in with all his experience, all his accomplishments, feeling like he has something to prove, but he doesn't have anything to prove to the Mavericks. They feel like they know who they have, and they're looking forward to figuring out how to maximize that.
Well, particularly because this is a team that is looking to go back to the NBA Finals and capitalize on what they could not last season. Klay Thompson has a little bit of experience in that area. Tim MacMahon, thank you so much. Adios, amigo. Let's bring back the whole panel here, though. This Dallas offense, it's going to feature a lot of Luka, a lot of Kyrie in isolation. That's a lot different than Golden State's sort of free-flowing offense that Klay had during his first 13 years of his career. So how do you see him fitting here, Victor?
I see him fitting great. Kick it to Klay, kick it to Klay, kick it to Klay.
That's just the mantra, the motto.
Kick it to Klay. But all seriousness, I think one of Luka's, if not his strongest attribute, is his passing. It makes him so good. So to have someone like that to look for and have him spot it only makes them a better team, in my opinion.
Perk, how good does Klay make this Dallas offense?
Oh, really good. Really, really good. One of the top 5 offensive teams in the league. And look, the crazy part about it is this, Malika. Klay don't even have to be nothing more or nothing less than what he was last year. And he was unhappy. All he needs to do is add a smile on his face, which he will, and he'll be just fine for the Dallas Mavericks. Think about this. A disgruntled Klay, a Klay that didn't want to be in Golden State, a Klay that felt disrespected, still averaged about 18 points a game last season. You bring that Klay into this system playing alongside Kyrie Irving and Luka, imagine what he's going to do happy. And then didn't I hear Klay say yesterday or in some, in his comments with the media over the past couple of days that he want to get back to being the defender he once was? That's even, that was like, okay, so Klay is feeling himself right now. He's loving his situation. And just hearing him on the post-game interview talking about the jitters, how nervous he was, he's excited, right? Klay is going to be the best version of himself, a Klay that we haven't seen in the last 2 to 3 years, in my opinion.
Oh, that could be very scary for the rest of the league. Julius Randle, remember, he dislocated his shoulder last January. He underwent season-ending surgery for that shoulder in April while he was still with the Knicks, and we actually haven't seen him play since. So the question becomes, when could we? For more on Julius Randle's status with his Minnesota Timberwolves, we welcome in our senior NBA insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what are you hearing about when we could actually see Randle make his debut with his new team?
Michael, I'm told that Julius Randle is not expected to make his Minnesota Timberwolves preseason unofficial debut, but the hope and likelihood is that Randle will be debuting at some point next week. The Timberwolves have 2 preseason games before the regular season gets underway, but the last week or so of Julius Randle's training camp has been really about strengthening that shoulder and making sure from an organization perspective and Julius Randle himself that he feels right, he feels 100% wind as far as his wind, as far as his conditioning before he steps foot on that floor. But he has been working out, he's been putting in work today, yesterday, and he's been fitting in well by all accounts.
Okay, so not quite yet, but we are getting closer. Shams, please do not go too far. Let's talk a little bit more about this because Randle was one of 5 players to average at least 24 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists per game last season. 3 of the other 4 players have combined to win the last 6 MVP awards, and the other is favored to win the next one. So I want to bring Kendrick Perkins into this conversation, Victor Oladipo as well. What effect can Julius Randle have, Perk, on the progression of Anthony Edwards, really the nucleus of this team?
I mean, Malika, it's not about Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? It's not about Anthony Edwards. It's the reason why he's your favorite player, okay? Because of what he brings, the dog mentality. He's going to bring the best out of any player. I think when I look at Julius Randle, the effect is going to be what it looks like him playing alongside Rudy Gobert or Naz Reid, right? Naz Reid's ability to stretch the floor, obviously. But when you think about Anthony Edwards, he's a dog. He's going to bring it every single night. He brings the dog out of the rest of his guys. Julius Randle is an isolation type player. We've known him to go on the island, and showed his versatility at that 4 or 5 position, whatever position he's playing. On a low block, he needs space to operate. So with the paint not being crowded, what's the best fit for us, the other big, for Julius to be successful?
What do you think, Vic?
Yeah, I mean, it's so early to tell.
Yeah.
It's so early to tell, right? So things are just going to have to kind of manifest and things are going to kind of have to happen to really know. But Julius has a chance to help them a lot. I think Anthony Edwards embraces all his teammates. I think that's one thing that makes it fun to watch him is that he's going to embrace his teammates, give them the energy that they need. Julius is also a dog, too. So I think it's really going to be up to Chris Finch and the coaching staff to tame the dogs because, a lot of times they can kind of get out of hand, I'm sure, but kind of tame the dogs within the game and make it work for both of them.
When focusing in on Julius just a little bit more here, you've been a player who has gone through injuries at different points in your career, and I think it was totally understandable, right, when Julius was asked when he was going to play, and he kind of said, guys, I'm just focusing on needing to get a house here and get settled after this trade, which is completely understandable. But for a player we haven't seen since January, as a fan, you want to see him out on the floor. How important is it that that happens in the preseason coming off of an injury like that?
Yeah, it's important for him to kind of get his feet wet and get out there and just, get acclimated to the new team and new experience and new environment that he's in. But the most important thing is his health. And if the environment that he's in off the court isn't necessarily where he wants it to be, a lot of injuries and things happen because of mentality, because of stress. So he just got to make sure his life is put together and in a facet that he wants it in, and then it'll translate to the court for him.
Shams, can you take us inside what training camp has looked like so far for Julius Randle, what he is able to do?
So Vic played, obviously Kendrick Perkins played. I love checking on how these training camps are going, how players are interacting with each other. And what I've heard is, yes, Julius Randle has been going hard. He's been playing. He's been practicing, doing bits and pieces more every single day. But the biggest thing that I checked in on is what has that dynamic been between Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards? And everything I hear, I spoke to a few people today, they've been hitting it off behind the scenes. And I think how competitive, and we know the spirit that Julius Randle has from a competitiveness perspective. Him and Dante DiVincenzo, the Timberwolves really believe, bring a uniqueness when it comes to that competitive fire, and that's obviously something that's going to play really well with Anthony Edwards. Those two have hit it off already in training camp.
Well, the Timberwolves, they face the 76ers today in another preseason matchup. Shams, thank you as always for stopping by NBA Today. Hey, speaking of preseason action, before we bounce, this was pretty sweet. The Lakers, they were down by as many as 15 points last night in the fourth quarter, in their game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Enter Quincy Olivero, who is on an Exhibit 10 contract with the LA Lakers. He had 11 points and 5 rebounds, including 3 threes in just over 9 minutes in the final frame to lift the Lakers to a win. And I think, so often in the preseason, we can get a little bit jaded to the, let's make a judgment on this trade of the summer, or let's make a trade just by watching the scrimmage. But this is really what it's all about. Listen to this.
You played 147 college games. You've been working at this for a really long time. What's that mean to you?
It means the world. I really honestly just want to get on the phone, call my dad, and cry. Like, I'm trying to fight tears now, man, because this is crazy, man. I just don't know how to describe it, man. I'm just so blessed. I'm so lucky, man, and I'm just grateful. I'm really grateful, man.